champ is here.
I must be the greatest.
The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man,
Nate.
Yes, he's the DB of the show, and we are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. And today, we're bringing you back inside the locker room where we talk about the topics in and around the game. MH, you ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So, we switched it up this season, man. We actually did a pre-draft show. Usually the last two seasons, we've only did a recap. So, now it's time to bring the recap like we always do about this time. So, man, we survived, bro. Like the draft was here and the 2022 NFL draft was here in Las Vegas and we survived, man. How you feeling?
I feel great now that it's done.
Would you tell me May 1st you felt great, huh?
I was feeling great, man. But no, all in all, I think a good week for the city. I know we'll dive down into some of the other details about it, but I think good stuff all throughout the week, beginning that, Monday, Tuesday of draft week, and obviously leading up to the draft day one, which was Thursday, and on through the weekend, through the Saturday. It's kind of crazy. I've never seen a Super Bowl. I haven't been in a city that the Super Bowl was hosted at to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But that was probably the biggest kind of NFL. It's pretty big. I guess I just didn't realize how much goes into the draft. That's outside of just the picks. I grew up watching the draft all like on a Saturday morning when it was all in New York. And it was all just a long day, and now it's 3 days of festivities and concerts and all types of things that go on with the draft that it was eye-opening. So I haven't seen a Super Bowl. I can imagine it's bigger, but that was pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, because we had the Pro Bowl here, and like there's not that kind of eye and hopeful thoughts, right? Because everybody comes in with the draft is, it's a new year, right? It's like New Year's Eve for for the world, right? It's New Year's Eve of football where it's like, you're actually on a countdown. And you're in the like hopeful, like here's a new start of getting my team better. So yeah, it was definitely that kind of time being, and just to see how big it was here in the city. And like you said, starting off Monday, like people were getting in town, and just the other events that happen that aren't even on a public scale, right? So the NFLPA are having things, and the league are having certain meetings and certain prep things to get ready for the Super Bowl. So yeah, man, a lot of activity, and like you said, definitely good for the city.
100%. Do we get those numbers? I know you the number guy. Is that the numbers?
So we haven't got the numbers. I was doing some digging, so we won't have the numbers. So it's something we'll post on social. Maybe we'll bring it up in the live once we get it. I know they're waiting to getting the abacus and getting the beads and the tallies and carrying the one and shit. So, but they announced during the first day, Roger Goodell said 100,000 the first day. So, so we're going to see if it kept trending with what we ultimately hit for the attendance numbers, and then overall the economic spend, right? So that may even take a month or two before they kind of announce that. But sure. I was definitely I was nervous. I was worried. You know what I mean? But we may shock the world. So we're looking forward to that. And I mean, hell, Goodell was happy, right? Like they saw the news in the news journal. Said went better than perfect or something like that. So all of that stuff bodes well for the city and its relationship, its young relationship with the NFL of moving forward.
Yeah, what's kind of interesting about, as you mentioned, Goodell, I had the pleasure of, I'm not going to slander this lady's name, or I'm not going to even put it publicly, but she works with Goodell. Mm-hmm. And I had a chance to talk with her on a couple different occasions during the week, just happened to be in the same type of room. And she was saying, it was an older woman, but she was saying this was her first time in Vegas, which is always an interesting, when somebody says that, you're like, oh, yeah.
What? Like,
Yeah,
what?
never
Right.
just pulled up for a couple days.
Something, right?
But she said it was her first time in Vegas, and I asked her, what her thoughts were, and she was like, "This is really great." But she said this is the first time, and she said she's been in the NFL for over 20 years.
Okay.
But going to a Super Bowl or going to Pro Bowl or as draft is start to move, going to a draft event, that the NFL didn't necessarily take over the city. Like there was still feels that there was other things going on. It wasn't just like, this is all NFL. This is the whole city. He's like, she's never been to a city where it's just like another event within the city. So I don't.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
Welcome to Las Vegas, for sure. But that was it. She was all good things, obviously, but she was very surprised.
That's a great perspective, right? Because that's when you think of like a Nashville or a Cleveland, Ohio, like that's what's going on that weekend. Like for us, it's like, okay, NFL is the main event, but we have some dope stuff still going on. And I think we even kind of alluded to that, like going like there was concerts. We still have really big national conventions that are in town. We had 3 different kind of combat sports events, right? So there was a UFC and then 2 boxing like events that were going on at different hotels.
Yeah.
So that's a great perspective to hear from that, and just tell them like we can handle that plus more. So
for sure. No, they seem, very happy as you said. It was all good. It was funny. I didn't know what the theme of the kind of draft is. They kind of have themes, and I thought it was pretty cool that they had like the, without being too Vegas, they can't be too Vegas as far as casinos and things, but they did the cards and had the different designs behind the cards, and we both saw the draft in person there, so seeing the different kind of team themes, club themes associated with the the playing cards, I thought it was kind of a unique touch, and it fit the Vegas. I guess.
Agree, man. I agree. Like I didn't see the market or the what they were going to beforehand, but I think they did a fantastic job with it as far as falling into the theme but not going overboard. And like the deck of cards with the different teams and all of that stuff. They did. I think we put on a good show, right? Which is Vegas. I think the lights were not over the top, but they were there. Right. Having like the live band on the stage,
cool.
Super different, man. And like, it was a good band, right? To make sure they covered everything, right? So everybody got, a session or a set or a song that, you can ride with. So, no, definitely great production. Still don't like the opening, man. Like we need to work with, someone needs to we need a playwright or whoever designs. But just Goodell, okay, boo, you can do better than that. I still don't like that. It's corny, man. Like, stop, right? And like Vegas people really wasn't about it like that because probably most of them were, at a great adult level with beverages and whatever else you may consume to be in that like this atmosphere. So it wasn't as serious, right? People was like, no, it's like, come on with the party.
Again, Commissioner Goodell had to quickly find out that he wasn't the most important person in the city. At the time, it's like, all right, man, come on. Say the draft is open and get up off the stage.
Correct. Like let's keep it moving, right? I don't know if the Ice Cube going on stage was a planned thing. I mean, with the Oscars and Dave Chappelle, I think we need to kind of monitor just having people running up on stage nowadays. I mean, he did call him out, but it's just, I don't know. The opening we need to work on, man.
Yeah, we definitely gonna heighten up credentials here pretty soon for our stage access with all events.
Super fact. But and we had our locals. For the legend, it was surprising to see Marcus Allen be the legend that they brought up for the 3 people. Like, of course, he had his time here, but that wasn't Derek Carr and Darren Waller. Spot on. I get it, right. But Marcus wasn't like the clear number 1, especially when I heard Bo Jackson was floating around this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, only Bo knows what Bo's doing. But I actually like the Marcus Allen touch to it. When I think of Marcus Allen, I think of West Coast, USC, Los Angeles Raiders. Obviously, he's been with the Raiders now. Obviously, with Las Vegas being an alumni. Mm-hmm. So with this draft being the first time it's been on the West Coast, I just felt that he felt kind of felt that West Coast kind of vibe. So I was kind of cool with it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Cool. And I mean, not that it wasn't the right or the, I just
yeah.
It wasn't the immediate person that I thought, but I was like, I got it as soon as he was there, and I mean, I respect him. I think he's dope. He's great, great name to be a part of that. So, I definitely like that. So then we get on the clock. All right. Commissioner announces the first person, and I don't know if you picked up, he announced the name wrong. So let's run it back really quick. We were both there, right? So, just kind of, we were live on site, just doing our perspective things. But I actually recorded it because, I did want to see what the verses, watching it and being there, you know what I mean? And kind of how I feel about that. So when I rewatched it, he called the first name. He called the position wrong. He got the name right, but the position wrong. So I don't know if it was first jitters, getting them out there, but I kind of caught that. I catch little weird stuff like that. Were you surprised by who they selected first?
I mean, you hear, we all read and everybody has access to his phone. So I guess you had heard Mr. Walker's name kind of being mentioned as somebody that could be sliding up. And I think we talked about it in the pre-show. This draft was kind of unique and from the standpoint that there wasn't like a top tier quarterback, so to speak. So that kind of opens up the number one draft choice, and seeing how there was, I don't know what the number is. I think it was 6 or 7 guys from Georgia drafted in the first round anyway from the Georgia defense. It just fit the bill.
Like if the hashtag Georgia defense won this draft, like they won the national championship and they won the draft. Facts, right? I mean, but there's a lot of unique things, right? So the quick ones that I picked up on or just recapped, and like it was the most wide receivers taken with the 6 wide receivers taken in the first round.
Which is interesting because I had the same talk about what I would if I were, and one day maybe if I were to say like, oh, okay, I'm doing a draft or on that side of
on that kind of
football operations where I just feel like wide receivers are more a dime a dozen, but I guess the game is changing and you see wide receivers being traded. You see wide receivers getting big contracts that they weren't getting just a couple years ago. So, maybe the name of the game is changing a little bit.
And I think we talked about that too, either in a live or the pre-show, but just kind of like wide receivers are becoming like better to have more than less, right? More weapons in this past first league, that we've adjusted to. Sure. And, it benefited the LA. And one of those teams that did that was Arizona with some of their picks and their moves, right? Picking up they pick up Brown, right?
Yeah. My boy,
Hollywood,
which is interesting. It was funny because, being somebody's name is or nickname is Hollywood, you think you would hear more about it. But when it was the trade was happening during the first round, I had no idea until I got home and saw my phone that he got traded. So kind of interesting.
And it's crazy because you're like, well, why do you have that? You got D Hop, and then the news of D Hop drops, and he's like, man, maybe they were. Somebody gave a little heads up, like about D Hop the first 6 games. You may want
What's that Magic Johnson thing? I'm not going to be here.
But the thing about it too is like, all of those weapons and you still haven't gotten your quarterback situation taken care of. So that's going to be kind of interesting as that fully develops because, they're in that little war. Back to just kind of top things. So we talked about Georgia. Oh, just the most trades. So you were just talking about like going home, like it was 9 trades, in the first, and it really like after, what was it, like the 6th pick? 8th, something like it just started like things were just moving where people were like jumping up, and the things that they were jumping up for just didn't make sense. Like it wasn't like they were jumping up for a top, like it was like after some of the receivers started going, right? People jumped up, but then it's like, no, I'm gonna pick this guard. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, you guess you got to get to who you want to get to. We all saw the movie with Kevin Costner, where everybody says it's super unrealistic how he had 1 million trades and
what else we need?
All this guy. And he traded all these picks and drafted the smallest linebacker in NFL history. With his top pick. But hey, I guess teams are getting a little more aggressive now with what they want. You know, the Rams' philosophy is, F those picks. And so they just trading them. So I guess if your team's philosophy that's like, hey, I'm going to win on draft day, maybe you do what you got to get to players that you want to get to. So
there you go. All right. So now I want to get to your favorite. All right. Draft grades. We'll start out with what your thoughts are draft grades, and we'll just talk about a couple teams' grades that we really care about on this show. But talk to us about how great you think and how innovative draft grades are.
Well, the word grades always gives me PTSD as a career B2C student. I just don't like the word grades. I just think the draft grades are so just kind of overrated, man. It doesn't make sense. It has never made sense to me about why team gets an A and why this team gets an A versus this team gets A minus, why this team gets a C plus versus a B. It makes no sense for a lot of different reasons. Okay. One, nobody really knows what each individual team's draft board is, right? Mm-hmm. So they could have hit on everything that they wanted to within their own scouting department, what they've deemed to be a draft board. And they could have did everything they wanted to do. But we don't know that. And it could be A plus for them.
Right.
And yet there's somebody like Mel Kiper who's watched a lot of prospects and this is no disrespect to him. Yeah, he's probably watched more football than I have. But that's just kind of his perspective. And then when we kind of just take Mel Kiper's background, I mean, he's never did a draft, actually. You know what I mean? He's never ran a team.
What's that quote? Who the hell is a Mel Kiper and how's he decide?
Right. So to your point, how does he
the Colts coach back in the day?
Yeah. So like, how does he really decide who does well and who doesn't do well? He could have.
Everybody's getting into it now, so of course he's the first one. But now everybody releases their draft grades, and you're not just saying it because the Cowboys got a B minus, right, or B whatever they got.
Not at all. I kept hearing, and this is a lot of different, I guess, draft experts were saying, they'll say, oh, well, this kid was number one on my board, or he was the top rated something on your board, my board. I'm like, who cares about your board? You're not really a team. It's no disrespect to all your research, but you're not a team. So how can you really give a grade? For instance, because the quarterbacks will get on your team. One team drafted a quarterback in the first round.
Correct. That's a topic we'll hit. Yeah,
we'll get on that. And then the next quarterback wasn't drafted to the third round, but there are some people or analysts I thought very high of Malik Willis. So if you're like, oh, he's top 10 on my board and he gets drafted in the third round, and whoever drafts him automatically gets an A, right?
Because you got him in the fourth round when he should have been in the first round.
Yeah. So who cares about draft grades? Very overrated, in my opinion. Very overrated.
Well, let me give the rest of these overrated grades. So our Las Vegas Raiders got an A minus on their draft. It was what they got graded. And which is also weird. Like, how do you are they graded on a curve? Because they didn't have any first round picks. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I need the rubric.
How are you grading? Because it's like you didn't have any first round picks. So does that automatically get you bonus points?
I've never seen a draft syllabus of how you get a certain grade, but we'll figure it out.
And then the Steelers got an A minus as well. And I mean, since we're on it, because I know we want to hit on it, I'm rocking the hat, whatever.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
So we were there and you asked me how I felt, and the uncandid response was I wasn't very happy camper. So if you didn't watch the draft, you don't know. And if you don't know, I'm a Steeler fan. MH is a Cowboy fan. And I really thought that we were going to go with Malik because the Panthers had a scare. We thought they were going to pick a quarterback. So didn't think that they would be available. But both quarterbacks were available, and the Steelers made the choice to pick Malik. So after
Kenny.
What'd you say?
They picked Kenny, right?
I mean, pick Kenny. Excuse me.
See, you hurting?
You see that's subconscious? Like it's just supposed to roll off anyway, right? But anyway, so if you cannot tell who I wanted us to pick,
facts.
I've had some time to digest it, and like I get the pick, right? Like there's a lot behind picking him, being that he was right there in the city. There's a lot of stuff that kind of goes along with why they pick these people. His quarterback coach was Ben's quarterback coach, or helped groom Ben, and change a lot of his kind of dynamics. So like you start hearing those kind of things other than him having very small hands at the combine. That's the only like knock that you can make out of him. The dude's making people change the slide rules in college where he juked the shit out of homeboys. So, I mean, long term, like thinking with my head, not my heart, I think it's going to hopefully behoove us better because he was a better right now prospect when Malik was the one that had upside. So
Yeah,
that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully, I mean, it's not like he has to wait a really long time in line. I don't think Mitch Trubisky is going to be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next 3 to 4 years. So I think
it's a real quarterback competition.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a perfect situation for him. He gets a chance to go in there and do what he has to do. So, and they got some good. I mean, George Pickens. I think he's really good. I mean, he talked about a receiver being drafted in the second round. I think he's a really good pick.
And that's one of the things.
My Mel Kiper, and then Calvin Austin, who's blazing from the University of Memphis. Fits kind of. I mean, the Steelers now draft receivers.
That's what I was about to say. We definitely draft receivers. I mean, come on, you're going, and then we talked about this, I think, on the live, but you're going into a situation. Situations make a difference as well. So you're going in with the coach, a great coach as Mr. Tomlin. So yeah, I'm over it. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm believing in the team, and we'll see what happens.
Shout out to Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, by the way. I think I was watching the draft the second day or the third day, but they obviously show everybody's like draft room, kind of their war room, so to speak. But there was a lot of black faces in there. I don't know what everybody did in the room. I don't know what everybody's assignment was, but there was a lot of us in there in that room. So shout out to Mike Tomlin for that for sure.
So I'm excited to see what they do, right? Like we got a hell of a defensive person, with Flores coming over, just adding piece to the puzzle. So we'll be seeing how that all pans out.
For sure.
Another thing, and this is, where I come from, the number side, right? Or just the sales, sponsorship, all that crap. Watching the draft and seeing how much Courtyard had freaking, like, I didn't know the draft was sponsored by Courtyard by Marriott Hotels. And I thought it was funny because, they can have a pick of who sponsors the draft, whatever. Bud Light was also a big sponsor. They were on the credentials and all that stuff. But it's funny if you look at the overlay of like every time they're panning over Las Vegas, which is dominant hotels and things like that, that you have Courtyard over that. So I don't know if that was a power move by Courtyard and just kind of, putting it, because I don't even know how many hotels here are like on the strip. I know there's Courtyards, outside the strip, but that was definitely interesting thing to see.
I mean, the NFL has whatever policy against casinos and whatever. They can't be aligned in some ways. I don't know the details, so I'm not going to try to act like I do. I just do know that they very much try to stick away from, they don't want to, show another casino that, another hotel that has a casino. So maybe Courtyard is the reason why that was so big. And I just thought it was funny that big on casinos and gambling, but Bud Light is the presenting sponsor. I don't know. It makes little to no sense for me, but yeah, it is what it is.
Another thing for me was the Bellagio fountain stage, man. I felt like it was, I don't want to say a miss. I didn't see it all in, I guess, its glory or what it could have been.
Red carpet. We know that's the new kind of, I don't even know what the Met Gala is. I just want to see what people are doing on the red carpet, right? So,
right.
I guess that was the way they were envisioning the Bellagio fountain as a kind of a red carpet type ordeal.
Okay, and so did they show that like right before like the top 20 or whoever was in agreement? Was that what they did? That they did the red carpet over there?
It was before, so I think that's where they kind of describe, what they were wearing and.
Oh, your boy.
We can get to what they were wearing.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's the topic. We'll get on that. Okay. And then, did they take the boat ride over? Because I'm kind of glad that I didn't see that, because that's the last thing we need is like the Atlantic slave trade again with 80% of black people being in the league. I don't need them getting shipped across water to their master. But
Yeah.
did they show any of that, or how did that come off? Did you get a chance to see
I'm
it?
not sure, but I know it was pretty windy on day one. So
We talked about
unless
that.
they wanted a reenactment of Prince of Egypt, I think they probably forego the boats.
Oh, that's funny. But no, I did walk by the stage. I liked the stage. It was cool. They did some cool stuff with the at night with the water, where they had like lights on it, and they had some cool little things. So that was dope. But let's get into it, man. The fashion is always a thing for the draft, man. And I don't know, man. I just, nobody really hit me this year in the first round, at least. Like we've had, over the couple years we've been doing this. Give me your take on it, and we'll go back and forth.
So I guess I'm a long-winded way of saying it was interesting. When we were talking about the Super Bowl when it happened, and I realized at that point I'm old during the Super Bowl, because obviously 50 Cent was at halftime, and the Super Bowl always reaches for his time generation back. So I was like, oh, 50 Cent and all them. I'm like, wow, maybe I'm getting old. And this was another time that I felt like, damn, I'm getting old just looking at the the kids' faces, the prospects' faces. So yeah, they were dressed to the nines, but they also just looked like little babies dressed. I felt like I was going to prom. I was
Prom.
felt it was prom. No, everybody's attire it's interesting. Now there's big colors and big designs, but with some like shoes on. Like nobody had like a nice loafer or anything like that. A nice red bottom loafer. It was more like, I don't know. And this is not just this, Alexander McQueen, but like just kind of like the kind of versatile casual type shoe thing with it, and that was kind of interesting. I think another perspective that was funny was that before, like, these kids were probably getting fitted, for some suits and kind of wearing those big price items for the first time. With the NIL. maybe already had the items. Maybe it was just something they pulled out the closet. I don't know.
Right. So not custom. They're like, oh, I had this.
Not custom. Yeah, this is something I had.
Right. Throwing some little something.
This is my lucky suit. This is my signing day.
This is my NIL suit. No, man.
I was underwhelmed.
Yeah, I was same, man. Like usually we have like some people like that put a show on, and like I look at things, and I was really, I think if I was looking at anything, I like the more classic, like not attempting to do too much, people, right? Because like your boy that was wearing the pearls, Harris, was it?
I could just remember Dean because he had that hat on. Like, take this hat off, bro. That's one thing I
was just like, come on, man. Like, I get attempting to set trends, but like, I'm gonna need you not to have mother of pearls strands on your neck, like around your neck, man. I just don't. And then the other one,
I actually like Aiden Hutchinson. So he was just kind of pretty simple, black on black suit,
clean.
Nobody was wearing ties anymore. That's kind of weird too. I don't know what happened to ties.
People had ties. Somebody had a tie on. That linebacker had a tie, and it was tied all wrong, by the way. Like it was like all short in the back.
Nobody hooked them up. Usually a tie was a staple. Now it's just like, let me have my chest open like Dr. Buzz.
Ever since your boy came in with a half cut off shirt under his suit, man, Zeke, man, it's
been a little different. You're right.
And then your boy, why am I forgetting? Looked like a red stripe bottle, man. I can't forget that shit, man. That's so fun. I text you, he's like, what? All right, man. I forgot where I was about to go after that. I lost it. My bad. Anything else that just kind of jumps out at you for the drafts, man? Miss or hits?
So being there and watching on TV, again, like most things with football, I believe, I think they're made for TV. We had this draft, there was a lot of, I wouldn't call it awkward pause, but I think her name is Carly Wolf and Michael Irvin were kind of like the host of draft day one. So they would come out, and I don't know how much of this was shown on TV or how much of it was not, because I didn't watch the TV.
And that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. So none of that was on TV.
Okay.
So we were only punished with that while we were there. And it's that like ad-libbing.
Yeah.
loose time, because what they put on TV is depending on what you were watching. I recorded the ESPN broadcast, but whether you're watching that or NFL Network, that's when you're getting the breakdown of like, hey, let's catch you up. We had a whole bunch of trades. Here's the trades, or here's some film. Yeah, we were the only ones subjected to that punishment.
And maybe that's half the reason why I didn't know Hollywood was traded until I got home, because you don't really hear. You just say, hey, they'll say, hey, somebody's, Cleveland's made a pick. The pick is final. You don't know what traded for, or who traded, or how they moved that. You don't really know. And then you just hear Michael Irvin and Carly Wolf just freestyling, talking about, I don't know what they're talking about. Shout out to them for filling out time, because they had a lot of time where they were just, did you see that pick, boy? He reminded me of me. I'm like, yo, Michael Irvin.
What are you talking about?
Can sit back, huh?
Did you stay for any of the concerts that they had afterwards, or?
Absolutely not. So I don't even know who Day One was. I heard it's supposed to be somebody popular. I've never heard of the group. Just not
Weezer. Weezer was Day One, because I remember on my way out, people were joking in like, "Hey, what he does? Oh, hey, EJ, what's up?" He's like, "Oh man, we're going to see Weezer." I'm like, "Man, have fun with that." Man, I'm going home.
I didn't. I thought it was Wheezy at first, and I was like, "Oh, he's just going."
Oh, Wheezy, like, okay, he's a big football fan. No, Weezer.
And
then you had Ice Cube Day Two.
I heard that was cool. I just saw Ice Cube, seen the replay of it. He was, I hope he got some oxygen after. He looked like he was sweating a lot.
Well, it was a little hot Thursday starting off.
It was a little.
The sun was beating in.
That I'm telling you, man, I was worried about that win. There was one time, I think it was right before the draft started, or maybe in the top 5 or 6 picks. A gust of air blew through that thing. I was like, oh, it's about to be over. We about to shut this down.
That's hilarious. But no, I'm in agreement with you. It was good. I mean, well, we had to be there. That's on the whole other thing. But I definitely would enjoy the draft more. Like, I enjoyed, even though I was there watching it on TV, it was a whole different thing, other than like, I can remember like, oh, I was standing right here when they did this, or when these certain things happen. But I definitely agree with you. Just, it is made for TV, and they did a great job there, but it's definitely a great production to watch on TV.
Yeah, shout out to Vegas for making those moments where on TV is just a commercial. Vegas put its touch on it, obviously with Michael Irvin, and they did their thing, but the house band consistently did their thing throughout the week. I think the first, I don't know if they've showed on TV as well, but the first, I think 4 or 5 picks on the first round, there was, I guess, a local artist that was painting like a portrait of the players that were picked within the time that they got picked. Shout out to whoever, God, I wish I would have got his name, but he works for the NFL. So he's the guy that, hey, okay, the prospect is picked, they get a hat, they get a jersey, they do this ridiculous, handshake with Commissioner Goodell, like he's been known forever. They take picture. So there's one guy that does all of this. Hey, you need to take a picture right here. Stand on this X, take a picture. Okay, now you're going to go over here to the side of the stage. You're going to see yourself give a portrait. Take a picture right there. Cool. All right. Let me grab your jersey. You're going to go over there because they have, God, I can't think of the name of it, but they have the different sections of teams represented by like season ticket holders kind of on the floor. First row of the stage. So the prospects were going down off the stage
to those sections where
where the fan base were, and taking a picture. But there was this one guy that was directing all this traffic prior to. He got him on the stage, got him off the stage, and it doesn't. I don't know what it looks like on TV again because I had to go back and watch. But there was a significant walk from where they were in the green room to getting them actually on the stage. So when they were picked and somebody was picked, you would see it 10 minutes ahead of the time, and it would take him a good 10 minutes to get to where he is.
To take that picture with the hat.
To take the picture on the hat and all that kind of stuff. And there was one young man
who went the wrong
way. All this thing. Sauce went the wrong way. So he had to run.
Hold it. I'm gonna just tuck mine in.
But like seeing all that kind of stuff, you know,
behind the scenes stuff,
behind the
right?
scenes, like it's definitely made for TV, or definitely made for TV for sure.
But just also gives you, like you said, an appreciation of like, yo,
Definite appreciation.
like all the parts and pieces that go into it, right? Like even like just the back of the house stuff or the hospitality, you know, was just some of the things that I saw. But you brought up something that I did want to bring up. I'm really not a fan of the handshake hug with Goodell like that, man. Like I don't know where I'm at with it. I don't know, like if I would be the one just to dap him when I go up there. Like, I mean, I don't know you like that, man. Like, and I guess it's just tradition, so that's why they do it. But like the dudes have like picked him up and like give him that long embrace. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dream come true. I'm gonna try to take it this way.
You want to try to get me there? You want to try to? Okay,
It's a dream come true.
Okay.
And you know, we're all competitive. Our athletes are competitive people,
Right.
so you try to build off what you've seen over the last couple of years. I mean, I think one player, I can't even think who it was, had like a different handshake with him. They did some little LeBron, J.R. Smith kind of handshake with Commissioner Goodell that was original. So I'm sure there's a little bit of like, hey, I'm relieved to be here. This is finally done. This is a long process from we talked about combine to being interviewed to saying what you're not good at to getting picked and pride about your medicals to you finally drafted, you finally on the team, you get to shake the commissioner's name. I guess that's a lot of emotion that's released all at once. And there's, I mean, pretty soon the hug is going to be sponsored by Courtyard Marriott soon or something like that. So there's ways the NFL is going to benefit from what that part was. And then there's, you know, during the week,
sponsored by Charmin.
Yeah, sponsored by Clorox.
Clorox.
The official hug of the NFL or whatever it is. But the prospects get there on Monday, and they're not drafted till Thursday. So they do a lot of things in the community, the hosting cities community, and a lot of things with Commissioner Goodell that maybe they've built a relationship over those course of days to where, hey, you finally drafted. I don't have to see you no more, Commissioner Goodell, hopefully for a while. I'm going to give you a big hug, but I'm ready to play some football finally. So maybe it's a little bit of that. I don't know. Did I get you there a little bit? No. What's worth the try? That's just worth a shot.
I did like the sponsorship part about the hug, though. I can see that hug.
Oh yeah, that's
the hug sponsored by
2024. This hug is sponsored by.
It's coming.
Yeah, 2024.
Man, well, wrapping this up, man. All in all, man, I think it was an amazing event. It was dope to have it here. I think at times I just stopped. You know, there was like a couple of walkways where you're like over, where you can kind of like look and pan over. I think it was dope seeing it there. While I was there, I was getting texts from people like, yo, the city looks live on TV. You know, just people, you know, that didn't make it out that just was texting me. So all in all, man, it was dope to see it, man. What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, I have an interesting perspective of, you know, a lot of my job 9 to 5 is in the community here in the Las Vegas area. So I had the pleasure of being kind of backstage and then away from the draft itself over the week. And I guess seeing the Las Vegas community be kind of highlighted on a national platform. The Strip is always highlighted. The hotels are always highlighted. We've talked about all the events that are here. Sometimes we miss what's the actual people that, you know, reside here in Las Vegas, the real community, the small town atmosphere that it has. So seeing the kids that were on stage with Commissioner Goodell that represented different parts of the city, I think it was a pinch me moment for me that, you know, it was able to have the Las Vegas community put on that NFL platform. And so I thought that was a real pinch me moment, as you said, and a real cool moment. That's not talked about a lot, but as we are both residents of this area, I think it was huge for the community.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, signing off, you know, we made it through, you know, like I said, the ups and downs. I think all in all, it was definitely a win for the community. I'm excited for these numbers, so I can't wait till those come out. And then, oh man, it was good being a part of it, and I'm glad it was here. Oh, I know that one quick thing. As Black in Sports, we did have 4 HBCU players drafted, which was big. You know, so the third, fourth, and sixth round or something like that. So definitely want to see Deanna and them keep up the good work. And then so many others were unsigned draft, you know what I mean?
Undrafted free agents.
Undrafted
Yep.
free agents, you know. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's still a road being drafted and being unsigned. They still have to make camp, make a roster and all that good stuff. But I think it was Doug Williams was quoted saying it's a start. So hopefully we kind of continue that momentum.
Definitely. Shout out to those kids, man, that are undrafted free agents, man. I know they grinding. Best of luck. Prayers are with you guys. Go get it.
Absolutely. Well, hey, as always, we hope you enjoyed the show. We drop in new shows every Thursday. And then look out for the live. And if you want to join the live, you know, definitely hit us on any of our social medias and let you know. We definitely have a good time about that. And we're open to topics. But yeah, we are Black in Sports and we appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please remember, visual representation matters. Stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.